This weekend, of course, we celebrate Labor Day. And Labor Day is a wonderful holiday for us here in the United States. Like most of our holidays, it's kind of been twisted in terms of its meaning. It mainly is looked upon now as an end of summer. The swimming pools are going to close, and so it's kind of the last hurrah before we enter into fall. And it's kind of a day for barbecues and swimming pools, and that's about it. But it's really a celebration of the gift of labor. And it used to be in our country that the particular labor unions would have great parades, and I'm sure in some places they still do, parades to celebrate the gift of labor. And how important it is that we appreciate the deeper meaning of our labor. Certainly labor, we know, is important for us. We need to work. We need to be productive within our lives. We need to provide for ourselves, for our families. We need to continue to make a contribution to society. There's a deeper, always, meaning to our labor, that our labor is also sharing in the creative power of God. That through our labor, we are invited to build up creation, to help perfect that creation that God has entrusted to us. I used to think when I was a child that labor was just the result of original sin. We had to work because of that blessed sin of Adam and Eve, and that was it. But if you read Genesis, Adam and Eve worked in the garden even prior to their sin. And so there's something very just human about creation. It's something about ennobling as we share in that building up of God's creation. And so there's a dignity that is there that we really need to celebrate, that it's a means of providing for our families. It's a need for us, an opportunity for us to contribute to society. But it's also a very spiritual act as we seek to perfect, to continue to build up this creation that is ours. It's also a reminder for us that we are entrusted with a very great responsibility, and that is the care of the creation that God has given us, and of our responsibility to creation itself. This is the World Day of Prayer for our creation, and it's an important opportunity for us to stop and think about the fact that God has entrusted so much to each and every one of us, as well as to all of us as a common humanity. The beauty of our creation is so wonderful and great, and we can so often take it for granted. And sometimes we even misunderstand the scriptures, for in Genesis it talks about the fact that man was given dominion over all the things of the earth. And unfortunately, too often, that has been interpreted as domination, control, opportunity for exploitation. Dominion really means care, responsibility, that humanity has been given responsibility for the care of this creation that is ours, not to exploit it, not to destroy it, but rather to care for it, to enhance it, and to preserve it for future generations. And so there is that great responsibility that we have in terms of ecology. Pope Francis, in his first encyclical, Laudato Si', was very strong in encouraging us to realize, first of all, that we're part of creation. No, we do have a spiritual soul that goes beyond the material, but our body is very definitely part of creation. We are not separate from the created world, but rather we are part of it. And to appreciate the dignity that is ours by reason of that, but also our responsibility. And I know this whole thing of ecology is so fraught with political positions and politicizing, but we've got to go above that. We've got to go beyond all the arguments about one thing or another, climate control or global warming or whatever it may be. We've got to go beyond that to the deeper appreciation, to that greater understanding of the beauty of the creation entrusted to us and the responsibility that we have as stewards of this creation. I'm sure all of us kind of feel, well, what can I do about all the challenges that creation has? We can all do some little part. We can all do something in order to be more responsible in the use of creation, in using well all that God has given us. I know every time I take out the trash from the rectory, I think, gosh, there's too much trash in this world. There's too much waste. There's too much just indifference to some very important parts of our life that we need to focus in on occasionally and maybe redo some practices that would help us to appreciate and to be better stewards of creation. You know, that spirituality of stewardship is not just about our finances. It's more importantly about that attitude of gratitude to God for all of God's blessings. And one of the most important ways in which we express gratitude is to use well the gifts that are given to us. And so as we celebrate this day, let us give thanks for the gift of labor by which we help build up creation, but also to renew that commitment to truly respect and safeguard and enhance the beautiful creation that God has shared with us.